Hey class, today we're going to be looking at soil composition based on the percentages of sand, silt, and clay. Now, if you'll recall, sand are large particles that are somewhere between 2 millimeters and 0.5 millimeters. You've experienced sand at the beach. Silt is much smaller than sand. It's almost too small to see with the naked eye, and it's between 0.002 millimeters and 0.5 millimeters. And then clay is invisible, and it's smaller than 0.002 millimeters. Okay guys, so we're looking at some dirt or soil, and you may be wondering, how do I know if this soil is good for agricultural purposes? Well, there's a real easy way to test that out, and that's what I'm going to have you guys do today. Soil that's considered good is a mix of sand, silt, and clay, and we're going to look at how to determine the percentages of said particles. Okay guys, this procedure is very simple. You need a clear plastic container that you can fill maybe a third of the way up with dirt from around somewhere near your house. You're going to then take that container, fill it up the rest of the way with water, and then really give it a good shake and set it and leave it for a while. And what's going to happen is the particles are going to start to settle out. What you'll notice is that after just a few minutes, you start to see a distinct layering of the particle size as they settle out of suspension from the water back to the bottom. The largest particles will be on the bottom, and then there's going to be a layer of smaller particles, which you can clearly see defined. And then over the next day or two, you're going to see the smallest particles gradually settle out in your solution. All right, here's 3 different hypothetical samples, all with different percentages of sand, silt, and clay. So we want to figure out where those soil types fall on this soil chart. You can download this from the classroom that I've given you, and you can do this on your own with your own dirt at home. You'll see on this pyramid, there's all different kinds of soils listed on here. And so here's a hypothetical jar, and let's figure out what the percent or what type of soil we've got in there. So we'll just pretend that that was 15% clay, 15% silt, and 70% sand. And then we'll mark 15% on the clay side. We'll mark 15% on the silt side. And we'll mark 70% on the sand side. Now, taking a ruler, we'll go parallel to the opposite side of the pyramid. And we'll draw a line starting at 70% on the sand there. And then we'll go across 15% on the clay. And then we'll go across 15%, always staying parallel to the opposite side, on the silt, and we'll see that we get a soil type called sandy loam. Now, how did I get those percentages? Well, I just made them up, but if we really wanted to get the percentages of your sample, we'd measure the total amount of dirt, which in this picture here is about 5 millimeters of dirt. And then the clay layer is going to be about 1.5 millimeters, and the silt layer is going to be about 1.5 millimeters, and in this picture the sand layer would be about 2 millimeters, and this is going to give you a very different percentage than the one I showed you just now in the pyramid, but that doesn't matter. Now we're just looking at how to calculate your percentages. So how do we get the percentage now? Well, if we had 1.5 millimeters of clay out of a total of 5 millimeters of soil, we'd have 5 goes into 1.5, 0.3 times, we get a number 0.3, which means we get 30% clay. So if that was helpful, please like and subscribe. And as always, I hope this helped.